Janelle Slade. Well, across Montana this noon, a jump in confirmed coronavirus cases. 6 of those 8 new cases out of Bighorn County. Well, health authorities say they expect more to come. The latest 6 are 2 boys between the ages of 10 and 19, a man in his 60s, and 3 women ranging in age from 30s to 60s. Now, these individuals were tested last week. Bighorn County leaders also today giving a heads up that they tested more than 1,600 residents over the last 2 days in sentinel surveillance testing and say as test results are confirmed, quote, we anticipate additional confirmed positives in Bighorn County. Now that statement goes on to say that these cases represent people who live, work and shop in every area of our county, including major towns. Well, the other 2 confirmed cases across Montana today, a Gallatin County woman in her 20s and a Missoula County man in his 60s. Now, these 8 cases bring the state to 28 active cases. 2 of those individuals are in the hospital. Well, whenever a vaccine for COVID-19 becomes available, the White House is considering making it mandatory for all Americans. However, there's new concern surrounding the search for a vaccine. Some of the biggest pharmaceutical companies say a shortage of glass vials may slow down production of the shots. They're even exploring the possibility of putting several doses of a vaccine into vials that normally hold just one. More than 100,000 deaths have now been attributed to COVID-19 across the U.S. Well, the Blackfeet tribe will keep its doors shut until June 30th. All of the same restrictions still apply. Those include curfew from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. and reduced hours for alcohol sales Monday through Thursday and closed Friday and Saturday. The east entrance of the reservation is also closed to travelers trying to get to Glacier National Park.
With the openings around us, you know, people are coming in from out of state and all of that and out of area to visit. We're just wanting to keep our people safe here on the Blackfeet Nation and make sure that we stay healthy and away from COVID.
The tribe is also warning people on the reservation to watch out for scammers calling and asking for birth dates and social security numbers, saying they have COVID test results. Well, it's now time to check in with meteorologist Ed McIntosh. And Ed, it is a beautiful day out there.
The temperatures are warming up, but by the time we get into the weekend, anything goes. Let's take a look and see, because we could have some record high temperatures here over the course of the next few days. Missoula tomorrow within a couple degrees of your record. By Friday or by Sunday, Billings, Miles City, Sheridan, Wyoming. Again, the forecast highs within reach of setting records, but at the same time, some threat of thunderstorms. That's in the green shaded areas from south of Missoula through northern Wyoming for today. By tomorrow, that'll shift from northwest Montana all the way down through south central Montana, especially favoring some of the higher elevations, and it moves off into the plains by the time we get into Sunday under all that heat. Closer look at the forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Ed. Well, although coronavirus restrictions have started to lift, the financial burdens created by its harsh impacts have not. In order to help those in need of financial relief, Congress passed a coronavirus farm assistance program. It allows the U.S. Department of Agriculture to purchase and distribute agricultural products to those in need. Salvation Army of Great Falls started distributing produce boxes packed full of veggies and fruits, free for absolutely anyone in need. Now, the boxes will be available every week through October. In order to continue these distributions, the Salvation Army will need to borrow a refrigeration truck. If you would like to lend or donate funds in that Great Falls area, contact the Salvation Army directly. Well, the city of Polson says no smoking in local parks. The city commission approved the ban on tobacco use in all city parks, and signs are already popping up with hope that people obey the order. The first citation will be a verbal warning. And Missoula is joining in this nationwide list of communities in holding events following the death of George Floyd. A rally just started at noon in front of the Missoula County Courthouse. 3 people are scheduled to speak. MTN stations will have more on this story tonight. And Minnesota authorities are trying to get a handle on the escalating violence in Minneapolis. Last night, protesters set fire to a police precinct. Nicole Killian reports.
State police officers in riot gear backed by the National Guard moved in to secure the streets of Minneapolis as fires continued to burn in the morning hours. Last night, protesters set fire to the police station where the 4 officers involved in the arrest of George Floyd worked before they were fired. The mayor of Minneapolis ordered the building evacuated and defended his decision to let it burn.
The symbolism of a building cannot outweigh the importance of life, of our officers, or the public. We could not risk serious injury to anyone.
It was one of many fires set in the city, including this building that partially collapsed.
Holy cow.
There has also been widespread looting. Corboy Vala had to fend off looters who tried to steal the safe from his sports bar.
It's not fair, it's not right. You know, we've been working so hard for this place. You know, this is not just for me, it's for my family.
Protesters want the 4 officers involved in the incident to be criminally charged with Floyd's death immediately.
This delay seems like it's suggesting that you're going to try to sweep his death under the rug.
Minneapolis police say Derek Chauvin, the officer seen with his knee on Floyd's neck, has had 18 complaints against him in his career, but faced discipline for only 2. Protests in the wake of George Floyd's death have spread across the country, including here in Washington, D.C. And dozens were arrested during protest in New York City.
You're under arrest.
Okay. Do you mind telling me why I'm under arrest, sir?
Back in Minneapolis, a CNN reporter and his crew were arrested this morning while on the air. Minnesota State Police say they were released once they were confirmed to be members of the media. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Washington.
And we have some breaking news. We have just learned that the officer who knelt on Floyd's neck has now been taken into custody. We'll have more on this later tonight on Q2. Well, right now, people collecting unemployment are getting $600 a week from the federal government. Now there's debate whether to extend those payments. The money included in the first coronavirus relief package is set to expire July 31st. But with more people out of work every week, congressional lawmakers are discussing if the payments should be extended to January of next year. As it stands, Democrats support keeping the checks flowing, while Republicans worry that much money will discourage laid-off workers from even finding a new job. Well, the U.S. is now consuming more renewable energy sources than coal for the first time in more than a century. The U.S. Energy Information Administration announced the milestone yesterday. Falling costs and environmental concerns are prompting the rise of hydro, wind, geothermal, and solar power. The last time renewable resources beat coal was in 1885, when wood burning and hydropower were popular. Well, we have more news ahead on your noon news. We will hear from a Montana mom who is spreading the word about the importance of addressing postpartum depression. The time now is 12:08, but first, meteorologist Ed McIntosh is in next with your statewide weather forecast.
Very far from where we would typically see the daytime highs top off, and we still got a lot of the afternoon to go. There are some showers and isolated thunderstorms that are starting to move into southwest Montana, and that's starting to show up with higher dew points, where you start to see the numbers climb above 50 for those dew points here from Helena, Missoula over towards Bozeman. That's an indication there's enough moisture available, starts to create some lift in the atmosphere, and creates the potential for strong thunderstorms as we start getting later in the day. And that's exactly the area that we have highlighted for today as well. You can notice a few lightning strikes here in these blue flickers as you start looking towards the bottom of your screen, with some potential for some hail. A lot of this is going to stay up into the higher elevations. Areas of eastern Montana and northern Montana, for the most part, stay much quieter. There, we're just going to be mainly watching the thermometer climb as we start getting later into the afternoon. So here's the setup for today. We've got this moisture stream coming in from Idaho, creating at least some potential for storms, and of course already seeing some of those lightning lightning strikes. The green shaded regions show where we have the potential for some heavier rain, gusty winds, hail around some of the thunderstorms for later in the day, and it'll follow along this warmer air as it continues to shift in. Now, most of the region is going to end up 70s to low 80s for the daytime highs today. So we're already looking at above normal temperatures across much of the region, and warmer air will start to shift in, affecting especially western Montana tomorrow. That's where we talked about the potential of at least in the neighborhood of a record high for you around Missoula, some very warm readings, and also more potential for some stronger storms. You'll notice that's from northwest Montana extending all the way into northeastern Wyoming. We're going to be watching areas like Great Falls, Helena, Lewistown. You could perhaps see some of those stronger storms develop tomorrow. Certainly they're going to be hit and miss, but watch for changing conditions. Now we go from Saturday into Sunday. Now the warm air wants to shift into the eastern plains, and it's not like it's a huge cool down towards the west, but the hottest temperatures from Billings towards the east, where again we're looking at the potential of record-setting highs, but again, showers and thunderstorms could develop that could be strong to severe. A lot of that warm air lingers all the way well into the week, and we'll see a few hit and miss showers and thunderstorms that come along with it, but cooler and wetter conditions likely won't arrive until we start getting closer to this coming, the following weekend, not this weekend, but the next, when we'll start to see a bit of a shift in the overall pattern. At least that's the way it looks right now. That's a long way off. Temperatures today will end up into the 70s and 80s. Again, the green shaded areas show where we have the better path for some of those stronger storms. And notice it's just small cells that start to develop. It's not like it's a huge outbreak of storms, but there certainly is some potential there. Overnight, the sky starts to clear. Temperatures are mainly into the 50s first thing tomorrow morning, and we're launching those temperatures up tomorrow. A lot more readings in the upper 70s, upper 80s, maybe some low 90s, especially Helena, looking over towards Missoula, where we're close to that record high temperature. And while it trends slightly cooler across the eastern plains, it really doesn't stay that way, because that's where the heat's going to end up on Sunday. Temperatures on their way up over the weekend. We'll be looking at readings climbing up substantially. Chance of some showers in northwest Montana later in the weekend. Great Falls and Helena looking at those temperatures climbing steadily. And the Butte and Bozeman, a chance of strong to severe storms tonight heading into tomorrow. Glendive and Billings peak on the temperatures Sunday. Let's look at the weather. Back to you, Janelle.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Well, as we get ready to wrap up the month of May, it also marks the end of Mental Health Awareness Month. Many moms find themselves dealing with perinatal mental health. Now, Tessa Jochum is one of those mothers who had a hard time bonding with her twins born almost 8 years ago. She was diagnosed with postpartum depression.
You hear about women's stories of, oh, I was so in love the second they were born, and I did not feel that way. It was like, get them away from me. I don't want to hold them. It was awful. I felt like a bad mom. And that was kind of what started my my postpartum depression, because I didn't feel like I had any children. I woke up and I had babies and I didn't know why. I didn't get to experience that like most women do, where they're awake for them, you know, they lay them on your chest and you get to like bond with them right away. They had taken a bath and were wrapped in a blanket when I first saw them. So I didn't get to see that or have that like immediate bond with them. And that just kind of snowballed my postpartum depression into what it became. You might need medication, you might need a combo of maybe some exercise, maybe a church group would help someone, maybe the moms group would help. And talk to somebody, tell someone, because I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't even want to talk to my husband about it. My mom and I talked about it a lot.
And Tessa is back to enjoying life with her family and encourages other moms feeling something not quite right to reach out. Spouses and family members should also be on the lookout for any changes in behavior. Well, your latest ag news is next with Jason Laird, so stay with us.
The animals will be featured to potential buyers through photos and video and in a catalog that will be distributed before the show. Well, federal funding will soon be available for Florida farmers still recovering from the pandemic. This past Wednesday, farmers and producers could start applying for the USDA Coronavirus Food Assistance Program. The funding provides $16 billion in direct payment to support farmers across the country. But Ag Commissioner Nikki Fried is worried that it may not be enough to cover all of Florida's needs.
Not even close, and that's unfortunate. And I've been saying it's just a little bit too little, too late on top of it. You know, we really needed some of those dollars and some of the assistance programs that are being put into place from USDA weeks ago.
And Commissioner Fried is encouraging farmers to get records of recent sales and inventory together now so they don't miss out on the funding. We've got to take a short break. We're going to be back in about 60 seconds.
Greg Gianforte will defend the Second Amendment.
Country farmers are being forced to throw out produce while food banks are struggling. So some states are finding a way that they can help each other out. Many are providing more money to help pay for food that might otherwise go to waste. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is also spending $3 billion to help get products from farms to food banks. Many farmers have already been donating on a local basis. And one of those programs created in response to the pandemic is called Farmers to Families. Earlier this week, the Secretary of Agriculture got to see the program in action. Sonny Perdue participated in a distribution event at the Westmoreland Fairgrounds. The Secretary showed off the boxes prepared by Turner's Dairy Farm, which included milk, yogurt, sour cream, and cheese.
This is what America does best. It's America helping Americans. It's really where USDA, the Department of Agriculture, just facilitates what's in Americans' hearts to do for one another.
And Secretary Perdue went on to say Farmers to Families is redirecting food that was being wasted with restaurants and businesses being closed. He also added that the USDA would like to extend the program in the future. Well, here in Montana and again in Great Falls, the community is participating in that very program. One of those authorized donating sites was open yesterday. Hundreds of cars flooded the Holiday Village parking lot and surrounded streets as they waited in line for free boxes of produce yesterday afternoon. Now the 25-pound produce boxes were packed with fresh veggies, fruits, and absolutely free to anyone in need. Now, while the crowds did cause a little bit of a holdup in the traffic, Salvation Army Corps officer Major Mark King said people's responses were nothing but complimentary.
A lot of grateful responses and a lot of appreciation. Have not had one complaint in anybody who's had to wait in a vehicle, and we've been checking anywhere from 25 minutes to 45, maybe even upwards an hour. But so far, morale is up and all the comments are positive.
And they went on to say if you would like to help out the Salvation Army, make sure you donate directly. Well, that's all the time we have for today. For the latest in ag news, make sure you check us out on Facebook. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Women. UPS will be adding extra charges to certain packages. Customers who have ordered oversized items from Amazon or Best Buy may be paying a premium. The company says it is experiencing an unprecedented demand for shipping and higher costs due to COVID-19. Typically, these charges only occur during busy online holiday shopping periods like Christmas. The new rates will take effect on May 31st. And Ed McIntosh joins us once again to deliver our final look at the weekend forecast. Ed.
The hottest temperatures are going to come in the next couple of days, but readings today will be above seasonal averages, hitting 70s, 80s, pretty widespread. Tomorrow, the hottest temperatures will be in western Montana and then Sunday to the east. But I wanted to highlight those areas in green for this afternoon. Helena, Butte, Bozeman area around Dillon, all the way through south central Montana, northern Wyoming. Some potential for little pop-up showers and thunderstorms. We're seeing a little bit of activity already, and that could bring pockets of heavy rain, gusty winds, and there is some hail potential for both today and again tomorrow in some of these thunderstorm areas, and that'll extend into eastern Montana by Sunday. So if you see changing sky conditions, make sure that you take heed and take safe cover.
Anything goes.
That's
Thanks,
right.
Ed. We'll see you back here next Monday. Have a good weekend, everyone.